Good evening and welcome to Tipping Point. My name is Frederick Mwitiriri. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Switch TV Kenya. In the studio tonight, I have former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Farah Maalim, Kajiado Deputy Governor Martin Moshisho, indeed, Peter Amunga, an education expert, and finally we have our resident political analyst, Jim India. Tonight, we take a keen look at what the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, said yesterday and the approval thereof of his statement by the cabinet earlier today. And of course, we'll discuss the thorn in the flesh, schools reopening on Monday this coming week. You can engage us on our SMS line that is on 111 444 111. Use the hashtag Tipping Point on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Fred Mwitiriri at Switch TV Kenya. Now, let's take a listen at what Joseph Kinyua said yesterday.
The unchecked utterances and political weaponization of public gathering continue to undermine the law and order within the country. This disregard of the law has triggered violent confrontations among different groups, thus threatening national security of the nation.
Of course, you've heard what Joseph Kinyua said yesterday, and I'm asking you, should all political campaigns be suspended? Should all political campaigns be suspended? Send in your SMSs via our SMS line that is 111 444 111 at Switch TV Kenya at Fred Mwitiriri. We are live here and we are back to full studio. On my left, you can see this is none other than Martin Moshisho, who is the Deputy Governor, Kajiado County. On my right, on this other side of the sea, we've got Peter Amunga, an education expert. On the other side, I've got Jim India, who is our political analyst, our resident political analyst. And of course, Farah Maalim is joining us via none other than the Skype. As always, COVID-19 has taught us everything else. Karibuni sana, everyone here.
Asante.
Let's start with what happened yesterday. Deputy Governor, you have heard the government is saying that we will stop political campaigns. Do you agree with the statement by Joseph Kinyua yesterday?
Thank you so much, Frederick. My name is Martin Moshisho once again, Deputy Governor Kajiado County, and also the Vice Chair of Deputy Governors Forum in Kenya.
Wow.
And I want to take this opportunity to really thank you for having me at the Tipping Point this evening. And on the question, it is really sad that our country has gone to the campaign mode.
Why is it sad? Why is it sad?
My opinion,
yes.
This is too early. It's almost 2 years to go. The Jubilee government went to the people and gave a lot of promises to the people. I believe all those promises are not yet covered. We still have a lot to be done. We still have a long way to go. I think the politician should concentrate on fulfilling the promises that they gave during the campaign in 2017 before even they think about 2022. In my own opinion, I think it is too early, and we are wasting a lot of mwananchi's time.
Jim India, do you agree that it's too early to start the campaigns? We are 2 years off the elections.
The only body that is allowed to tell us when to start campaigns and when not to start campaigns is the IEBC. The chair has not declared that the campaign season is open, and so anyone who's doing campaigns is doing so against the law. However, we must also contextualize the statements of Joseph Kinyua yesterday. They were not made in a vacuum. They were not, the National Security Council did not make up and make such statements in a vacuum. There's a context, and the context is that the leading, the assumed leading presidential candidate, who is the deputy president, has been crisscrossing the country. Also, the assumed other presidential candidate, Raila Odinga, has also been crisscrossing the country. It appears that then they said that we are weaponizing, because those are the words that he used. He said we must stop weaponizing public gatherings because it is a security threat. So since when did politicians not weaponize the masses? They have always weaponized the masses along tribal lines. So the one time that now the masses are being weaponized along class lines, now it has become a security concern that the National Security Council is speaking for the first time, and not the National Cohesion Commission that should be speaking. So the context is there for all Kenyans to see, but I agree that politics derails development. But the assumption that we make with that statement is that there has been development. So can we account for development from Jubilee government in the last 3 years? My answer is no. So
Peter Amunga, you're laughing at this, and he's talking about weaponizing what was spoken yesterday by Joseph Kinyua.
Yes.
You think that the deputy president is weaponizing the Mwananchi with the wheelbarrow movement?
Even before you talk about that, as a teacher, the first thing I start with is asking, define the word campaign. Define the word even weaponize. You know, sometimes we misuse words. Sometimes even our politicians and our leaders like Joseph Kinyua misuse words. Because somebody can take you to court and tell you, okay, define the word campaign. Is going to church, campaign. Is going to take a cup of tea in a hotel and people come out to say hi to me. Is that campaign? So, you know, the word campaign may be being misused here. And I tend to think that deputy president, as a deputy president, has his place. Him having a house at Karen and meeting people there and doing whatever he's doing there, giving them wheelbarrows, okay, that is his type of, maybe his lifestyle. Maybe that's what he knew. That's what he knows about his work as a deputy president. But I think that Joseph Kinyua and his group need to really come up, first of all, and define and put boundaries and put timelines. When you say campaign, what do you mean? So before we politicize issues and make them look so big, can we get our English language right? As a classroom teacher and as a prefect in this class, I want to say, can we get our language right before we start talking about it?
Jim, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think there are some politicians who are afraid of DP, and he has made inroads in most parts of the country? Do you think they're afraid of his movement and they're trying to curtail him?
Corona has stopped many politicians from campaigning. We had about 6 months break when nobody was doing any campaigns. But the DP cleverly found a way of doing campaigns, and that was hosting people at his home. So you do not stop Mzee from hosting people in his boma. It is his boma at the end of the day. Are they afraid of him? Definitely they are afraid of him, and anyone would be afraid of the kind of inroads he's had. But Fred, Mwalimu Amunga is being clever with Kenyans. And he's putting us where now we have to say what shall means. Does it mean must, or does it mean maybe? What campaign means? People have been, and we know what campaigning means. It means going out there and saying 2022 tutapatana and you will decide this thing. People have every right to say that the deputy president has been crisscrossing. Has he been weaponizing? Yes, there has been weaponizing, because we have seen at least 2 deaths recorded within the last 1 week. That is weaponizing. It means that out of your utterances, people have taken action, and the action they have taken is a violent action that has resulted to death.
Let's hear what the deputy president had to say about the very same thing.
Sio ati mambo imefanyika Murang'a peke yake. Nilienda Kisii, vijana wakapangwa, wakawasha moto, wakaleta fujo. Nilikuwa niende hapa Kajiado, watu wakapewa vitisho na county commissioner wa huko. Nimeenda saizi Murang'a, wanapanga vijana kuleta fujo eti kwa sababu wanataka kurudisha nyuma katika ile siasa ya makabila na katika zoning ya kusema sehemu hii ni ya watu hawa na wale msikuje, na hiyo siasa we don't want.
I'm going to throw this to the deputy governor from Kajiado, and the DP has mentioned Kajiado. It was one of the places he was to visit, but he's saying the county commissioner decided he's not going to visit. What happened? Because it is your county. You sit in the security committee of the county. Your governor sits there, right? So you decided the DP is not supposed to come to Kajiado County? What happened?
Anyway, I'm not a county commissioner.
A clever way of running away from the answer.
I'm not a county commissioner, and I really don't know where the deputy president has been barred from visiting Kajiado. So, as a deputy governor of that county, I'm not privy to that.
But you don't agree with his campaigns and starting early campaigns, do you?
I don't really support early campaigns. I believe we still have a lot to do, and almost 2 years is a lot of time that we should put our strength in service delivery. And when we talk of visiting Karen, that is not my issue. My issue is when young people must walk on the roads carrying banners. And,
what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Help me understand. What is wrong with that?
Something wrong is using groups of youth to clash, confrontation with police. That brings about insecurity, and I think that is the concern of Kinyua and the National Security Advisory Committee. So I think it is not about visiting a certain home. It is about politicians using young people to confront each other and using police, and as a result, we have deaths. That is not the way we should be going at this point as a country.
Jim,
yes.
Allow me to understand this. Why is it that it's some meetings that you will experience violence, but some meetings you are not experiencing? We have seen Wiper party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, going from one point of the country to the other. We have seen ODM party leader, Raila Odinga, going from one place to the other. No violence. We have seen Musalia Mudavadi, the same thing. We have seen Alfred Mutua, the same thing. Nothing is happening to them. But when it comes to the DP, there has been some level of violence from Kisii, Muranga. He's talking about Kajiado. Today in Nyamira, I wish we can have those cover shots. Today in Nyamira, it was chaotic. Help me understand. Why is it on one candidate these things are being found?
Fred, there are two possible explanations.
Yes.
The first explanation is that we have normalized in this country using national security apparatus to frustrate a candidate whom is seen by the government of the day as a threat to its succession. We have normalized in 2013, in 2017, the supporters of Raila Odinga being shot, being tear-gassed, being maimed on the streets. We normalized that. Now, this time the shoe is on the other foot. And clearly it is the people it's paining. Now they know what those conversations were about. When you were saying that we need elections to be about justice, elections to be not just about peace, but justice. So now those conversations people can have. So normalizing that, we can see security apparatus being used, as the deputy president is alleging, the security apparatus is being used. But the second possibility also could be that there is a deliberate attempt by that particular camp to whip the emotions of the masses. Because in this country, when you whip emotions enough, you get votes. So those are the only two possibilities why these things are happening. Either the security apparatus is being used, or that particular camp is whipping the masses deliberately so that they can gain votes.
All right, we are taking a short break. I know we have just started. Lynette, we have just started. But however, I'm being told that we have to take a commercial break because kuna wale ambao wanatulipa. We'll be back with a short while. We'll be talking about our security apparatus being used, like Jim is saying right here on Switch TV. We'll be back with more on 111, 444, 111. We are back in a short while. I believe less than 2 minutes. We'll be here. Welcome to Tipping Point. I asked you earlier on, should all political campaigns be suspended? Should all political campaigns be suspended? Talk to us on 111, 444, 111. Some of the messages that are coming in, I'll read them. I am not understanding why Tanga are concentrating on 2022. They need to deliver to the people. I am tired of this. It's Felico himself from Brigadier Bungoma. I think it's misunderstanding that it felt the DP is building his profile. Yes, I support to stop political campaigns because it's yielding nothing to the general public. Jubilee Party, fulfill your campaign promises. Makoha. Thank you so very much. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Right now, I have Farah Maalim, former Deputy Speaker, National Assembly. Mr. Farah, if you can hear me, are security apparatus being used to frustrate the Deputy President? Mr. Farah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me look at this thing in a little bit more holistic. It's not a very simplistic.
Mr. Farah, inua simu kidogo tukuone vizuri. Naona kama tunaona tu kichwa peke yake, kama tunaweza kuona ukiwa wote. Hapo sasa, asante.
What I'm saying is that it's not a very simplistic thing. What you have to understand, and in my opinion, sometimes when we are going for this kind of debates, we need to do a little bit more research than we do in what exactly is the message that is being taken around by the Deputy President and his team. What the Deputy President and his team are trying to do is to create a narrative that essentially divides the country. And he is part of a political vehicle. He's part of we have the executive, and we have the judiciary, and we have the legislature, and we have the party system in the country. The Deputy President is a member of the Jubilee Party, and he is the administrative or the assistant to the deputy to the president himself. So the president is essentially the president of the party too in this case. Now, they cannot be working at a cross purpose, and if they do it, it's a clear indication that the nation is getting divided along, in my opinion, a fake narrative of saying the haves and the have-nots. And if you allow this kind of narratives to take hold, it's primarily because of that we ended up with the Nazi Holocaust in which 6 million Jews were killed. Because Hitler, being a populist himself, created the narrative that you are poor as Germans because everything that should have come to you has gone to the Jews and the Jews are hoarding it. So when he creates a narrative that there's something called the Hustler nation and there is the dynasty nation itself, in a sense, is trying to create that divide, which can be extremely dangerous, and can lead to terrible bloodbath in this country. Now, as part of the executive and part of the same political vehicle which the president is, the president has that absolute authority as the CEO of the country itself to make sure that this kind of narratives do not take hold. So what the government did, in my opinion, you cannot hide in the cover of the freedom of speech, of the freedom of association to create narratives that are going to divide this country and create bloody consequences. Now, this is not the only country.
Let me ask you this question, former MP and former Deputy Speaker Farah Maalim. Why would the president allow division in his own party? Why shouldn't he treat the division that have started cracking that we are seeing right now? Why shouldn't he bring back the DP?
If you listen to me a little bit, and if you think a little bit harder and do more research, we're using the political party model in this country. The political party model is that everybody is accountable to his own political party first and foremost. And that's the vehicle that is recognized in the political discourse in the country. For example, as the deputy party leader of WIPA, I cannot go out there right now to the country and start addressing the country in my capacity as the deputy party leader of WIPA and give a message that is different from the message that Kalonzo Musyoka, who is the party leader, is giving, or the manifesto of the party itself. Or create a fake narrative that essentially is designed to try and, to incite the masses, to incite the millions of Kenyans against sections of the Kenyan society, because one wants to access to that office. So he creates this fake, and in my opinion, con game by saying there's a hustler nation and there's a dynasty nation. I'm not a hustler. And I'm not a dynasty guy. And we have a country of 47 million people. Now, when he goes that way, it's an incitement. I think there's need. But because he's the deputy president of the country, if any other person were to go that route now, will end up in jail and will be taken to court for incitement.
Okay, let me cut you short. Let me cut you short just for a second. Let me cut you short just for a second. Amunga, do you agree by the statement that Mr. Farah is making? And he's saying that the deputy president is trying to create a narrative that is going to divide this country to the very bottom. In the end, what you're going to find is what happened in Germany.
It's true. I agree 100% with what Farah Mohammed is saying.
Farah Mohammed.
Yes. Because the truth of the matter is, the deputy president sits in the cabinet. Today, as people are fighting in Nyamira, deputy president was with the president in a cabinet meeting. So I take it, or I'm taking it, or we as Kenyans who are knowledgeable a bit in things that are political, we are wondering, is it not, you want to tell me that the president is not in control? I don't believe so. I believe this narrative is not just propagated by the deputy president only. Even maybe the president and the Jubilee government are part and parcel of what is going on. It is a way to divert
What do you mean
our
they are
attention.
part and parcel?
Yes, I'm saying this because I believe they're diverting attention from the key issues that are affecting Kenyans. The economy, joblessness,
KEMSA,
COVID-19 billionaires. These are the issues that the deputy president should be addressing. These are the issues that the president himself should be addressing. But when you see this kind of drama going on, somebody is hell-bent to divert attention from Kenyans talking about the nitty-gritty, where the rubber meets the road in this country, which is the economy, which is joblessness, which is schools. Our founding fathers, I'm talking about Jaramogi Oginga Odinga,
Yes.
I'm talking about Jomo Kenyatta. They came up with the say that we are out to eradicate three big issues: poverty, umaskini, ingine ilikuwa nini, magonjwa na ujinga. Yani eradicate those kind of things from Kenyans. 60 years since independence, I cannot talk about our health system being good. I cannot talk about our education system being good. Neither can I talk about in ujinga man nini ingine. We are still ujinga in more than even we were 60 years ago. Reason is these guys know how to play with our minds. And I'm sorry, my co-panelist Jim India. The problem is not that somebody's playing, that the deputy president is being frustrated. He's not. He's part of it. He's part of the drama. He knows what is happening. And I believe
let's ask the people. Let's ask the people who might be in the Jubilee. What is happening in Jubilee Party? What is happening in Jubilee Party? Because we believe if the president was
playing games with us,
if the president was holding his party together, we will not be seeing the drama that Mr. Peter is talking about here.
I can't really tell. What I know.
Jubilee has lost it.
What I know. Every leader who is in office today had an opportunity to face the people with an agenda. Water scarcity, education to our children, good health care for our people, maintaining and making good roads for facilitation and good networking. And I think when the people of Kenya gave us an opportunity to serve them, I think we are debtors. And the remedy to debt is to pay. So we should be concentrating. And let me
7 years down the line, all we hear from this Jubilee government, and you'll bear me witness, are scandals after scandals after scandals. Yet you have only 2 years to just try and clear the whole backlog of the scandals that have been in Jubilee government. And here you are saying that you are here to deliver. Are you going to deliver anything in 2 years?
And that is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Our national leaders, the president, the deputy president, who are the party leaders and the deputy party leaders of the Jubilee Party, should really have a candid discussion for the sake of our country. Both of them. The president should convince the deputy president to shelve all these early campaigns.
The same way he convinced the ODM party leader.
If the allegation is true of the deputy president, being idle and having no job to do, he should be given a job to do so that he can shelf.
Are you sure he would stop campaigning?
And the country can go back to deliver on the promises of the people.
Jim, let me invite Jim here. Where did the rain start beating the Jubilee government? Is it the handshake of 2018? Do you feel that the deputy president was not involved and maybe he decided to go, quote unquote, rogue?
Jubilee was a marriage of convenience. In 2013, it was convenient for Uhuru and Ruto to work together. It was convenient for them to come together because they had a common interest, and the common interest was the cases they had at The Hague.
Yes.
And that was dealt with. In 2017, it was also in their interest to work together because, well, they had already plundered the economy for 5 years, and they had an opportunity to plunder it again for another 5 years. So why not? But the thing is, the Jubilee 1 was a 50-50 government, where Ruto came with his list of cabinet CSS and Uhuru came with his. But in 2017, the owners of the party came for the party and said, you were rented. He was rented loyalty. That is what a friend of ours likes to call him. That was rented loyalty. And so when his expiry date reached is when Uhuru got his second term. He outlived his usefulness in Jubilee. We don't need you for 2022 because you have no interest in running for elections. We don't need you to defend ourselves at The Hague because we no longer have any case. So you go out there, do what makes you happy, provided you do not frustrate us inside this house that we have created.
Let me invite Farah Malim at this particular point. Farah, do you have said there is a narrative that the deputy president is trying to create as an elder, even in this meeting, as an elder, and Wiper being part of what now Jubilee is. Wouldn't you be part of the people who will be convincing the president, like the deputy governor here is saying, to convince the president and the deputy president to come together, put the ideas together, some to be shelved until maybe the late 2021, so that we can have peace and tranquility? Shouldn't you be part of that delegation?
You see, what we need to do in this country, particularly at the media level and at the intellectual level, is pretty much to try and understand this thing in its own entirety and its own philosophy. What the deputy president is doing right now, he is creating a powerful schism in the Kenyan society. And it's very easy to do that because you have over 67% of the youth in this country who are unemployed. And that's exactly what happened in China when they had what they called the Great Leap Forward. Or if you remember, I know most of you are very young, but if you remember, you Google and even study the Cultural Revolution in China, in which, or what was called the social engineering policies of Cambodia, when the Khmer Rouge slaughtered 3 million people, where when it was a crime for you as an oligarch, if you're seen with a car, you were killed. If you're seen with a motorcycle, you were killed because you were an enemy of the society, you were rich. And that's exactly what is happening right now with the wheelbarrows and the bicycles, and the hustler issue itself is a very dangerous route we are taking. It's similar in a sense to the French Revolution when you look at it, because when you begin looking for the enemies of the society and you look at a certain class, either a business class or a leadership class, this thing progressively will cascade into a level that becomes impossible to control. Now, what he's doing, what they did, is it's going to come up with xenophobia, come up with...
Thank you. Thank you, Farah. I'll be coming, being told that, like always, COVID-19. Oh, COVID-19. All right, we are taking a short break. We'll be back with more. We'll be talking about the classes that Farah Malim is talking about. Now, we're shifting slowly from tribal politics now to classes, like Farah Malim is talking about. We're talking about that in a short while. We'll take a short break. I'm being told we have to be paid. In a short while, 111, 444, 111. We'll be back in a short while. Welcome to Tipping Point. Talk to me on 111 444 111. Your SMSs are coming in and they are many. The Deputy President should stop early politics because he's a leader without respect. You're saying Ishmael from Siaya. Under the Constitution, the political campaigns should start when the IEBC says so. Jimmy India had said that the President cannot do anything apart from advisory. The DP should stop campaigning. How I wish I had power to do that. Because this is not the right time for political agendas. Matters of health needs to be a priority now. Phyllis from L. And maybe I can start from this conversation, I can start from what NCIC had to say about the political campaigns that have started.
Yet Kenyans cannot be considered outsiders in their own country. Only the police need to be legally notified of such public meetings.
All right, and earlier today, there was a cabinet meeting where the Deputy President, the President, and all ministers, including Fred Matiang'i and Joseph Kinyo, who is the secretary to the cabinet, and also the head of public service, was in that particular meeting. Let me start with the deputy governor here. Your party. Do you think the DP should be given some level of assurance that the president is going to support him in 2022 so that he can stop early campaigns? Do you think so? Because the president promised. It's your party.
I think the president has not promised anyone
Otherwise,
that he is going to support in 2022. Not the president, I mean his deputy, not Honorable Raila Odinga or any other person. Because I think the president was clear in his second term that he needs to concentrate on service delivery, the Big Four agenda, to be able to leave a remarkable legacy. And to be able to concentrate on that, he shelved any kind of politics. So he said, let's concentrate on delivering the Big Four agenda, service to the people, before we even think about 2022. I don't know what happened, that we all left the Big Four agenda
long forgotten,
and concentrated on 2022 politics. So I think as a leadership, we need to go back and ask ourselves, where did the rain started beating us?
Amunga, the Tanga Tanga movement, they are saying, and the argument is, that there was created a secretariat, election secretariat, way before 2013 elections, 3 years before the elections. And so they do not find why it is wrong not to create one right now, 2 years before the elections. Do you agree with them?
Yeah, actually, I was part of that team. I was in the Jubilee campaign. 3 years before the election, we were on. And those who worked with know that. What I can say is, but that's not an excuse for now. Because the same Jubilee is still in power. You see, you will be talking a different language if they are trying to recapture power. But they are in power right now. And the problem is not really campaign. This is what I think. I've been a teacher for many years. And I listen and I read a lot. Recently, I listened to a person called Musalia Mudavadi. He's the leader of ANC.
Party leader.
Party leader of the ANC. And Musalia Mudavadi asked a question. In fact, he asked a question during the COVID-19 conference. He said, who is fooling who? It is the politicians. It is the governor here and his friends in Jubilee who cannot wear masks even when they are told to wear masks, who will still continue to do political rallies even when they are told don't do them, will be arrested in bars at night. They are mainly them. It's the governor here and his friends in Jubilee whom we see being arrested at night.
But to make sure it's not him. He has not been arrested.
It is his friends.
It's not him.
So I want to say this.
Yes.
What we are seeing is a script. And Kenyans, listen to this. There's a good script being written. Divert attention from the major issues that are affecting Kenya. Divert attention by saying there is early campaign. We have always had campaigns in this country. In fact, that's why I started by asking, define the word campaign. If going to church, is it a campaign? Is going for a fundraising campaign? Is all these things campaign? This is a narrative. I have worked in such places before.
Jim, do you think it's...
No, Jim, wait. Jim, let me tell you, and I'll teach you, my friends.
Yes.
We are being treated to a very nice narrative, whereby we are not being told that we have borrowed. We are about to hit the 9 billion trillion mark, which is our ceiling to stop borrowing. We are not being told that schools are closed and our children are still at home right now. Free secondary school and free primary education funds have not hit schools. Hospitals, doctors are rioting in Kenyatta. Those are the issues we are being told, not being told.
Because
that's the narrative.
I'm being told I have a very few minutes. Jim, do you think that the Jubilee government is trying to create a different narrative from what is happening in the country? There was Kemsa Hayes the other day.
Mwalimu is a very good drama teacher. He has a great imagination. I mean, that we must give him for that. He has created a beautiful script. Fred, the assumption when he says there's a script is that we do not know the things that he's telling us. The assumption is that Kenyans don't know that we have runaway corruption in this country. We know we have runaway corruption. We know that money is being stolen in this country. We know that we are over borrowing. We know that our construction is not happening. We know those things. So what narrative are you telling us that is being created to divert? How do you divert our attention from things that we know? We know these things. The thing is, we the people do not care. The people of this country have never cared. We have constantly known what our problems are and voted for those problems every single time. So there's no attention being diverted. We are basically living life the way we are used to it and how I wish we'd live it differently.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Farah Malim, I'll give you your final thoughts on this discussion. You're saying that there is a narrative that's been created. Like you're saying, you're seeing the same picture that Joseph Kinyua saw yesterday. What is your final thought? Where are we headed as a country? Do we need to just curtail all campaigns from here henceforth?
Let me tell you something that is going to worry you all. Al-Qaeda was a creation of the American intelligence. And at that time, they used it to fight the Russians when Russians had occupied Afghanistan in the late 70s and early 80s. Later on, when the Soviet empire was demolished and literally it could not be sustained, the same problem came back to the same. America created them in the first place. The Mungiki was the creation of the government, the state at that time. And I want to believe that the deep state and the Moi those days was responsible for that. Later on, it came to haunt the very people who created it, and they were going to kill any Kikuyu and every Kikuyu who has money, because it were told they're the sons and daughters of Mau Mau, and this is basically what they have to do. To get back the land, to get back the wealth, they had to eliminate anybody who was a Kikuyu, not anybody, not another community. Right now, you're creating a hustler nation. That hustler nation basically is that all of us who are poor, who can only have a wheelbarrow to run around with, we are poor because our wealth was taken away by the so-called the elite or the middle class or the upper class or the upper middle class. Now, this is going to be a runaway genocide that can never be controlled.
Okay, allow me, Farah, to just cut you short. I'm being told that my time is over, and just when we are starting the show, okay, I'm being told that my time is over. Your SMSs are coming in, and there's so very many. I wish I could read all of them. Let me just read one. My director, should I read one? Thank you. Reverend Jackson Mayesek from Kajiado County. We are very happy to hear from our DP governor. All right. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for having time for Tipping Point. I welcome you again to Tipping Point. Any Thursday that you are in, please come overboard. We'll be having Jim every now and then. He's our resident political analyst. Asante sana. To Jim India, who is a resident political analyst. To Peter Amunga, a teacher. I wish we had discussed education matters. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Schools are opening.
Schools are opening on Monday. Yeah. All right. And our deputy governor here, Martin Moshisho from Kajiado County. All views expressed here are personal views and not the views of Switch TV. Have yourself a very, very good night.
Fred ameturuka.
Asante sana.